they met in a pretty cool scene at a cool time and got together and fell in love very young.
Yeah.
And in a way that also was very specific to this story, that they were kind of amongst a group of people who were sowing their oats, and these two decided to get together pretty early on.
Yeah, it's rare that you have characters who are part of this kind of intense punk rocker scene who come from whatever lives they come from. There's a reference that Kat's childhood was, kind of a mess. And at 22 years old, they're like, you know what, it's you. And I'm done, and I'm in. And I think that, commitment to each other is so palpable in the family. It's like the base of everything.
I think that's true. And just the simple fact that you have a functional couple living within the counterculture, because I think usually in films that's such a hallmark as to people with screwed up existences and screwed up families, and these guys are really punk rock and yet totally awesome and a fantastic family. And I think because of that, Mia, who's the more type A of the family of four, really is the black sheep in a way.
Yes.
Because she has more traditional interests, but at the same time, because of this family's acceptance of the freaks, she's really tremendously loved for exactly who she is. I think there's such a perfect mix of the exploration of kind of fate versus free will and what we choose and who we are inherently in this movie. And there's actually one of Gail's original lines in the book that subsequently made it into the script is, sometimes we make choices in life and sometimes they make us. And I think that's, that is kind of the summation of Mia's story is, she was born into this family, and she's partially nature and partially nurture, and this whole kind of mess of beautiful, wonderful things. And I think Adam's character is really part of that. Somebody that she never would have necessarily picked for herself, but makes perfect sense.
In psychology they talk about how you either marry your mother or your father, and Adam is kind of the representation of both of us. He would more naturally fit into this family, and so there's something about that she recognizes that feels like love when she's with him. She's a movie star, that girl. She's so wonderful. We both had this kind of jaw-dropping moment when we were shooting the backyard concert scene. They're doing this kind of movie magic where there's an incredible cellist named Hagen who's playing Chloe's cello double, and they shoot her and doing all of her beautiful playing. And so we had watched that over and over again, moved in awe. And meanwhile, Chloe was sitting at the monitor watching Hagen's face, watching what she does when she plays. And then they sat Chloe down and had her head in the same position and rolled the camera, and just using this part of her body, Chloe played the cello, was moved by the music, was in love with her boyfriend, was scared of the rest of her life. There was 60 different colors that happened in Chloe's face.
Embarrassed, surrounded by the love of her family.
Moved, she was 5 years old, she was 40 years old, she was a music connoisseur. She was so many different things in those, 3 minutes that the camera was rolling. And it was just this part of her body. And we were they called cut, and both of us were she is right where she needs to be. She's very special.
Yeah, that was the moment where you go, oh, that's what makes somebody a movie star.
Yeah.
That rare ability to do
To
exactly
be so
that.
present and naked and strong and all of it, you know, it's just like awesome.
And also a total sweetheart and a goofball.
Yeah, and talks about chocolate chip cookie recipes, and like she's a teenager too, like actually really normal teenager, and she's just great.
First and foremost, I think RJ cares so very deeply about this story and has it in his bones.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing that you can stump him with. He is, you know, he's lived with these characters, which as an actor, especially with a first-time narrative director, is such a gift, and so rarely happens where somebody is just, you know, living in the hearts and minds and lives of these people.
Yeah, he loves these people so much.
He really does. And I think so much of that is probably from his documentary background that he's thought more about these characters than probably all the rest of us combined. And in addition to that, he's got a clear vision. He's a kind dude, and he's smart as hell.